So I want to welcome all of you who are watching by our by video, by our YouTube channel for Trusted Compass, and we want to welcome you today. We're going to talk about behavioral preferences. And so what we want to talk about today is, let me start with asking a question. How many of you have ever been in business and you've had a partner or an employee or a coworker who you just couldn't figure out? Just raise your hand if you've ever been in a situation where you had a customer, employee, a partner that you just couldn't understand. Just if you had more than one, just raise both hands. Now, while you have your hands up in the air, go ahead and just say, "Lord, I need your help." Right. Now, I want to say this. One of the things that I've learned in being in business for over 30 years is that it's not my work or my production that causes me the most problems. For most business people, the root of our problems are because we are having challenges with our relationships at work. And so certainly planning a wonderful cruise is not a problem, but it might be the client on the other end of that line that's causing the problem. "Oh, we want to make a change, Sandra. Oh, I know we told you 4 days, but now we want 6 days." And so you have to go back and redo it. Then they call you back next week. "Oh, we want it to be 7 days." And so changes, interruptions, unexpected things that happen. Everybody has a different personality, and everybody has a different, what we call, behavioral preferences. So today, in the next 28 minutes, you're going to learn more about yourself, and hopefully I can help change your life by what I can teach you about what I know about behavioral preferences. All right? Now, in the first couple of pages, I've included my bio. So my elevator speech page is that I was an 18-year associate professor at American University. I taught in the School of Journalism, and I also taught in the School of Continuing Education, and I really love that job. One thing about being a college professor is that you have to love your students. You have to love the subject matter, and my students were just fantastic, and I was so motivated, and I'm just really proud. The one thing that I can say is that toward the end of my teaching career, I was nominated for the Professor of the Year, and I was very, very proud of that. And because I really put my heart and soul. And so as I was there at the university, so I also do the same as a pastor, as a CEO, and as a person who, as my wife says, we both love people. And so I want to just say that that's probably the best thing that I can tell you, that I have a very, very lovely wife, and I'm so grateful, 30 plus years married, and we have 3 beautiful children. Much of what it takes to be a great leader is what it takes to be a great person. And when we look at the life of Jesus, Jesus turned the leadership paradigm upside down. If you look at most organizational charts, whether it's a small business or a large corporation, usually you have a few boxes at the top and a lot of boxes toward the middle and the bottom, right? And that's known as a pyramid. And so what Jesus did, he says, when his disciples asked, who will be the greatest? He said, he or she that will be the greatest will be the one who serves the most. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about looking at what are the things that we prefer, what are the things that God built into us, what are the things that God hardwired into us, like Jeremiah chapter 1, where he already ordained that he was going to be a messenger, a spokesperson, a preacher, a prophet. And he said, before you were born, I already had equipped you, I had ordained you, therefore I had already equipped you with the skills to do it. And so that's fundamentally what behavioral preference is about, is that each of us has a specific set of skills, abilities, and the ability really to do anything. There's an unlimited ability that we have within us that God placed in us. We know that from Psalm 139. David said, I will praise you, God, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That reinforces the concept, Sandra, of Jeremiah 1, where God had to deal with Jeremiah's insecurities and says, it's okay, but don't call yourself a child, because you really can do much more than what you know. So in that same spirit, I want to say to you, as Christ said to his followers, each of you, you've accomplished great things, but there's so much more to you. There's so much more to you than what you think. And I want to tap into that person today. Is that okay?
Yes.
To have permission to tap into that person?
Yes.
And I'm grateful for all of your accomplishments. I'm grateful for all your certifications and your degrees. But I want to prepare you for the next level, for the new season. And to do that, we can borrow from something that Christ says, that I can do all things through Christ. So we've established that generally it's not the technical parts of our job that are difficult. It's the people. Whether it's a customer, a coworker, or a boss. So let's just talk about that for a minute. So on page 2 of your handout, just an idea. The Bible says, know those who labor among you. Some of the clients that I serve in the healthcare, education, science, and technology arenas. I also have served in the communications and corporate arenas. And then I've also served, I was sharing with Tom, in the government, both at federal, state, and local levels. So that's just something you can tuck away. Some of the third page are some quotes of note. Had the opportunity to do work for HUD for several years. I've done work with Washington, D.C., Virginia, Fairfax County, Prince George's County government, and I've had a chance to work with unions and local minority women-owned businesses. And so you can just get a flavor and a sense of what other people have said about me. Page 4, if you would turn it horizontally, is your page 20. This is an excerpt, ladies and gentlemen, from a 1 or 2 days training seminar that I do for some of the agencies that I just indicated. So I just simply lifted this from a much larger macro presentation. Behavioral presentations can be boiled down to what the philosopher Socrates says, know thyself. Everybody just look at your neighbor and say, neighbor.
Neighbor.
Know
No.
yourself. Right? And that is the key to wealth building. That's the key to raising healthy kids. That's the key to having healthy marriages. All right? So, to that extent, Aaron, would you pass out? In fact, it's already in front of you. But if you would just simply look in front of your shepherd's guide, there is a scorecard that says behavioral preferences and interpersonal styles assessment. So this is the scorecard. So for the first 4 minutes, what I'd like you to do is, I'd like for you to complete this. There are 18 entries. If you have a pen or pencil, would you kindly look at entry number 1? For example, Sandra, it's a horizontal box and it has 2 statements. How would you describe yourself? A person that when you communicate or just as you observe your own behavior, would you say that you use more gestures or fewer gestures? And so these are very, very simple questions. And what I'd like you to do is, if you said more gestures, you would put an X or a check mark in that box. If you feel that you're a person that perhaps uses fewer gestures from your own observation, you would mark in this box. I'd like you to do that for the subsequent 17 boxes, and then this scorecard will serve as the foundation for understanding ourselves better. So would you just take about 3 or 4 minutes and just go all the way down, give your first or your I would say your most honest answer, right? So if you are not sure if you use gestures or not, be conservative and say fewer gestures. If you know that you're a person who talks with their hands and gives a lot of eye contact, be as honest as you can. Go through all of these, and when you get to the bottom, give me a smile, and then I'll know that you're ready for me to give the next instruction. So your smile to me is my indication to go to the next level. If you get stuck, T-Way can help you.
Yes, if you get stuck, just raise your hand.
As the food comes in, we will have this part pretty much done. And then you can still eat. Feel free to eat, ask questions, make notes. You may have questions as we go along. And then after the session is done, I'll be more than happy to talk with you about setting up a time to maybe bring this workshop, the full workshop, to your organization. And T can set that up for you as well. We just want to give you just a little taste. Okay, Sandra's finished. T's finished. So now what I'm going to do is, since most of you are finished, I'd like for you, Sandra, to add up all of those in the B column. Add up all the check marks and write the number of check marks where you see the number symbol. So if you have 4, you would write 4. If you have 5, you have 5. Then the A column, add up all of the A's and write above the A you'll see the number symbol. You're going to write the number in that vertical column. And you do the same for the L and the R. Okay, has everybody completed all 18 horizontal boxes? All right, and has everybody added up their check marks? All right. So you should have a combination of 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 6, 2, 7, 7, 2, 8, 1, 1, 8, 9, 0, right? Because it's an odd number, right? Sandra, what would it read your score across?
5, 4, 3, 5.
Okay, very good. So that it would always
5, 4.
5, 4. You said 5, 4?
Yes.
And you said, yeah, 5, 4 is correct.
Okay.
It should be 9,
It
right?
should be 9, 3, 5, so you missed one.
this one?
You're missing one somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, the 5, 4 is correct.
Oh, that one.
Yep. That it should be a total of 9.
5, 4, 4, 5.
Okay, very good. Now, Sandra, what that tells me is that you can self-report that you get along with most people. Is that true or false? All right. Cornell, what was your score?
2763.
2763. Okay, you have a wider range. I'll explain how the scoring impacts, but since we're doing just a very, very brief version of this, I won't get into the weeds. Tom, what's your score?
5535.
Okay, it should be 5, 4 or 4, 5. Each B and A should be a total of 9, and the L and R should be a total of 9. But we'll go over it later. We'll go over it later. Paige?
Mine was the opposite from Mel's. It was 7236.
Okay, all right, very good. Aaron?
4, 5, 4, 5.
Okay, you're like Sandra, you get along with most people. Dawn?
8, 1, 3, 6.
Okay, you have, now that's one of the highest polarities. When you're at 2772, 1881, or 0990, it means you're very strong in your gifting. It means that you've exercised those muscles more than others. And T-Way?
Hi, Dawn. 8, 1, 1, 8.
Yeah, now I see why you get along. Yeah, right. Now let me just say this. Using a medical term is that the muscles that you exercise are the ones that are going to be developed. But it doesn't mean that you don't have muscles all over your body. Okay? Understanding leadership is like understanding your muscles. The muscles you use are the ones that are going to get exercised and are the ones that are going to develop the most. For example, if you went to the gym, Cornell, and you only worked on your upper and your core, after 3 years, your legs would not be as strong as the rest of your body. They're still there. You're still able to run and jog, but the strength of your physiology would be in your core and in your upper and arms, because that's what you've been working on continuously Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 3 years, right? The opposite would be true, Tom. If you worked on your core and your legs but didn't really do anything with your upper, you would have tremendous leg strength, tremendous core, but you probably could use some development up here in the shoulders and this, the pectoral area, right? So that's what it's like in the body of Christ. It's like Paul told Timothy to show himself a pattern of good works. In other words, doing something over and over again is a pattern. And if you work on something in your life, be it your business or your ministry or your family, the more you work on it, the more you're going to develop muscle in that area. Right? And so the way I teach this is the way that Jesus taught. He says that the eye doesn't say to the foot that I have no need of thee. Of course, that was the teaching through St. Paul, but it was the message of Christ, that the whole body needs each other, but that also can be applied to your temperament and to your behavior. All of your skills, all of your specific preferences are needed. It's just that some have exercised that particular muscle more than others, right? So the part of you that I want to speak to today is maybe the part that's there, but maybe just underdeveloped, the part that's underachieving, the part that you don't think you can do. And so what I want to say to you is that each of you has a particular set of strengths that you have exercised, that you've built up muscle in. And there's some of you that are even keeled, that have developed muscle all along the way, that allows you to be able to be connecting and develop rapport a little easier than others. But let's go now to the next page, your page 21. Let's read number 1 together. This is critical to understanding behavioral preferences. Right? Let's read together. There is
No good